Suspected Boko Haram terrorists attempted to break into Chad presidential palace on Wednesday night after China Foreign Minister Wang Yi had met with President Mahamat Idriss Deby Itno and left for Nigeria to meet with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in continuation of his Africa tour, which he started the visit with Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, where he had previously met with Vice President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah at the Old State House. Chadian government dismissed claims that the attackers were terrorists but failed to state the identities of the 24 armed men widely believed to be members of the Boko Haram sect that stormed the presidential palace, shooting dead 2 security officers and thus sparked a heavy gunfire by the presidential guards, who shot dead 18 out of the 24 suspects and arrested others who sustained injuries. Hours before the shooting began, Wang had met with President Mahamat Idriss Deby and other senior officials. Deby was inside the complex during the attack, according to government spokesperson Abderrahman Kolamala. Chad says military foiled destabilization attempt. Local media also reported that the attack on the presidential palace occurred same Wednesday. About 70 French soldiers and 8 tons of cargo have left N'Djamena in line with the end of Chad's military relationship with France, which both governments have made some exchange words in recent days. Chadian Prime Minister Alain Halina had said, "The deadline for the final withdrawal of French forces from our territory is set for January 31, 2025. This period is neither negotiable nor modifiable." Authorities said 6 attackers and 3 security personnel sustained injuries. Residents near the compound reported hearing heavy gunfire, but the government has assured the public that the situation is under control, with soldiers protecting the president. Chad's foreign minister and government spokesperson, Abderrahman Kolamala, assured the public that the situation was under control. The attempt to destabilize has been thwarted, Kolamala said in a video statement, flanked by soldiers. A security source, according to local media, said the attackers were members of the Boko Haram jihadist group, but Kolamala later said they were probably not terrorists, describing them as drunken pieds, a reference to a French comic featuring hapless crooks. He said they attacked 4 guards before entering the presidential complex, where they were easily overpowered, adding the surviving assailants were completely drugged. The attack occurred about a week after the African nation held parliamentary elections that were supposed to help restore democracy, but the main opposition party boycotted the polls. Results have not yet been announced, and analysts have said they expect the election to help Deby Itno consolidate his grip on power. Deby Itno seized power as a military ruler after his father, who spent 3 decades leading the country, was killed fighting rebels in 2021. Deby Itno won a presidential election last year that international observers have said was not credible. Individuals in 3 vehicles attacked the military camps around the president's office, but the army neutralized them, a source said, speaking on condition of anonymity. Earlier, residents in the area described hearing loud volleys of gunshots. "I am stuck at Place des Nations in front of the president's office, because I hear intense gunfire and military vehicles coming from all directions," said one of the residents, Abbas Mahamat Said, who had been riding his motorcycle. President Mahamat Idriss Deby came into power after rebels killed his father, long-standing President Idriss Deby, as he was visiting troops fighting militias in the north of the country in 2021. The older Deby had ruled Chad, which is rich in oil resources but one of the poorest countries in Africa, since a coup in the early 1990s. Reuters, quoting the criminal prosecutor over the failed attack, reported that foiled attack on Chad's presidential compound overnight was carried out by a group of 24 armed, ill-intentioned individuals, who were neutralized by security forces, the public prosecutor said on Thursday, though details of the incident remained unclear. The attack comes at a delicate time for Chad, which recently scrapped a defense cooperation pact with long-term partner France that made it a key Western ally in the fight against Islamist militants in West and Central Africa's Sahel region. The region has been riven by insurgencies, including by groups linked to Islamic State, Al-Qaeda and Boko Haram, for more than a decade. Military authorities in Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger, which shares a border with Chad, have recently turned their backs on the West in favor of Russian military support. Chad's public prosecutor said 24 armed assailants drove up to the presidential palace on Wednesday evening, felled a breakdown and attacked security guards manning the gate, killing 2 and lightly wounded 5 others as they tried to enter the compound. Security forces killed 18 of the assailants and wounded 6, who were taken to hospital, the prosecutor said. Investigations have been launched to identify all instigators and accomplices, the prosecutor said in a statement. In an earlier interview on national television, government spokesperson Abderrahmane Koulamallah said the assailants, who seemed intoxicated and disorganized, were only armed with knives and machetes. Security sources and researchers said there was still a lot of confusion surrounding the incident, which sparked speculation it could be linked to jihadist groups, ethnic tensions, or discontent over the fallout of a war in neighboring Sudan. It is too early to draw conclusions over exactly what happened, a security source in N'Djamena said. Koulamallah said it was, probably not, a terrorist act. Reuters report ends in quote. There are indications that the criminal investigators in South Korea have mobilized over 2,000 police to wear down or overcome the men of the Presidential Security Service, PSS, currently protecting the country's impeached president, Yoon Suk Yeol, from being arrested after court reissued order of arrest on Tuesday when the previous court order expired with failed attempt by the criminal investigators to carry out the arrest order last week due to standoff mounted by heavily armed PSS. Local media on Wednesday reported that the South Korea's Presidential Security Service, an agency assigned to protect the president, prides itself on being the last bastion for a safe and stable state administration, is now at the heart of South Korea's biggest political mess in decades, acting as a final line of defense to prevent criminal investigators from detaining President Yoon Suk Yeol. The media reported that the impeached South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol's residence has been turned into a fortress, with layers of barbed wire and vehicle blockades protecting the elusive leader as at on Wednesday. It was gathered that the 64-year-old former prosecutor was at home when investigators carried out their failed attempt to arrest him last week and was still there until early this week, the Yonhap news agency, citing police, reported on Wednesday. The criminal investigators said they are now unsure of his whereabouts as Yoon keeps them guessing behind a wall of protection even though a new warrant cleared the way for renewed efforts to arrest him. I am considering various possibilities, Corruption Investigation Office, CIO, Chief Odong-won said on Tuesday in response to a lawmaker who asked if Yoon had already fled. South Korea's Presidential Security Service was seen fortifying the hillside villa where President Yoon Suk Yeol is believed to be, according to media reporters on ground monitoring the situation. Reuters on Wednesday stated that various scenarios reported in local media included mobilizing police special tactical units and heavy equipment to push through the barricades, followed by more than 2,000 police to drag out presidential guards, taking as long as 3 days if necessary to wear down presidential security agents. Adding, protesters both supporting and opposing the embattled Yoon have continued to brave freezing temperatures to stage rallies on the streets around the presidential compound on Wednesday after a court reissued a warrant to arrest Yoon earlier on Tuesday. The Presidential Security Service, PSS, was seen this week fortifying the compound with barbed wire and barricades using buses to block access to the hillside villa where Yoon is believed to be, having defied summons to appear for questioning. South Korea impeached President Yoon Suk Yeol is facing a new and potentially more robust attempt to arrest him for insurrection after a top investigator vowed to do whatever it takes to break a security blockade and take in the impeached leader. He also faces an impeachment trial in the Constitutional Court. One of Yoon's lawyers in a statement on Wednesday said, The president could not accept the execution of the arrest warrant because it was issued by a court in the wrong jurisdiction and the CIO had no authority to investigate the incumbent leader. Yoon Suk Yeol, the lawyer, also denied suggestions by some members of parliament that Yoon had fled the official residence, saying he had met the president there on Tuesday. He said they were malicious rumors intended to slander Yoon. On Tuesday, Oh Dong-hoon, head of the Corruption Investigation Office for High-Ranking Officials, CIO, which is leading the investigation into Yoon, apologized for failing to arrest the president last week after a 6-hour standoff with hundreds of PSS agents and military guards at the compound. We'll do our best to accomplish our goal by thoroughly preparing this time with great determination that the second warrant execution will be the last, or said during the Parliament Committee meeting. At the Parliament Committee meeting, or refused to specify how many days the court had given before the new arrest warrant expired, citing a need to keep plans for the new attempt internal. Yoon's home, a former foreign ministry residence, is nestled in Hanam-dong, an affluent Seoul neighborhood along the Han River renowned for its luxurious homes, some of the country's most expensive. It is also popular with K-pop stars, reportedly including members of the megagroup BTS, and hosts many foreign embassies. Situated in Yongsan District, which stationed colonial troops during Japanese rule and American troops after World War II, it now plays host to Yoon's own legion, according to AFP. Nigeria Police Force has paraded some cybercrime suspects, hinting that the force recovered over 8.8 billion naira from cybercriminals in 2024 and the stolen funds were restituted to the victims of crime. The force spokesperson, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, stated this on Tuesday in Abuja alongside with officers in charge of the Nigeria Police Force National Cybercrime Center, NPF-NCCC. Olumuyiwa had also paraded the suspected killer of CSP Hassan Jega, the DPO Agbaho Division, Delta State, who was killed on the 14th of October 2024 during gun battle with notorious armed robbers. Details of the press releases reads below as stated by the Force Public Relations Officer, Olumuyiwa Adejobi. In the relentless efforts of the Nigeria Police Force to tackle every form of crime in all spheres, the force has recorded an outstanding achievement for the year 2024 in retrospect, particularly in the area of combating cybercrime. In the year 2024, the Nigeria Police Force National Cybercrime Center, NPF-NCCC, successfully recovered a staggering 8,821,001,881 naira and 80 kobos, 8,821,001,881 naira, 80 kobo, 115,237.91 USDT, and $84,000. These significant amounts have been restituted to the victims of cybercrime, reaffirming the commitment of the force to protecting citizens and ensuring justice for those affected by fraudulent activities. Similarly, in the past year, the cybercrime unit has actively engaged in strategic operations, resulting in the arrests and prosecutions of over 751 individuals involved in cybercrime. The unit has successfully recovered a total of 685 devices that were used in these nefarious activities, which include 467 mobile phones, 137 laptops and computers, 46 routers, 4 servers, 1 drone, and 4 Starlink devices. Additionally, the operations led to the confiscation of 16 houses, 39 plots of land, 14 land documents, and 26 vehicles, further dismantling the infrastructure supporting cybercriminal activities. In recognition of its outstanding performance and dedication, the NPF-NCCC has been awarded the title of the Best Cybercrime Unit in Africa for 2024 by the Interpol Cybercrime Directorate based in Singapore, securing the top position among 54 participating African countries. These achievements reflect the dedication of the Nigeria Police Force to fighting cybercrime and enhancing the safety of citizens in the digital space. In furtherance to efforts towards keeping the cyberspace safe, operatives of the NPF-NCCC have apprehended 4 suspects identified as Douglas Victor, Mel, Ebo Efe Martins, Mel, Lucky Adesuloye, Mel, and Indifreke Joseph Modi, Mel, for various cyber-related offenses. The Nigeria Police remains committed towards combating cyber threats, staying steps ahead of cyber criminals, thereby enhancing the nation's overall cybersecurity framework and protecting the welfare of its citizens in the digital era. Citizens are advised to remain vigilant and exercise caution when sharing sensitive data or interacting with unfamiliar online entities. Cultivating a culture of cyber awareness and promoting responsible online behavior are essential components in fortifying the defenses against cyber threats. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Police Force, as part of its efforts to ensure the safety and security of all Nigerians by employing proactive, intelligence-driven strategies to combat crime, have evolved improved strategies to combat crimes and criminality. These efforts have led to the disruption of criminal networks and a notable decrease in incidents of organized and violent crime, enhancing the overall security situation in the country. On the 1st of November 2024, operatives of the FIDIAT arrested 1. Ogaga Dixon, male, 35 years, a member of a notorious armed robbery syndicate responsible for the death of CSP Hassan Jega, the DPO Agbao Division, Delta State, who was killed on the 14th of October 2024, during a fierce gun battle between a team of police officers led by the deceased DPO and the assailants, after the team of policemen had foiled one of their robbery operations. The operatives had earlier stormed the gang's den and engaged them in a fierce gun duel, leading to the neutralization of 4 of the gang members. Upon Ogaga's arrest, the police recovered 1 AK-47 rifle, 1 English pistol, 1 locally made pistol, ammunition of various calibers, and 6 exotic vehicles. Similarly, police operatives apprehended a child trafficking syndicate led by 1 Pastor Dayo Bernard, male, of End-Time Army Ministry, Bukuru, Plateau State on the 2nd of December 2024. The operation led to the rescue of 5 children between the ages of 2 to 4, abducted from various homes in Jos, Plateau State, and the arrest of other members of the syndicate identified as Rita Amoeze, female, Victoria Ugu, female, Nanman Pontel, female, and Peter Okoani, male. Upon interrogation, the principal suspect confessed to having abducted and sold 13 children at varying prices, all of whom have been recovered by the police and reunited with their families through the Plateau State Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development. Furthermore, in line with the IGP's directive to all police detectives to mop up every illicit arms and ammunition in circulation, operatives of the FIDIAT have successfully recovered 14 AK-47 rifles. These operations exemplify the unwavering resolve of the Nigeria Police Force and highlight the effectiveness of our efforts to combat crime and enhance national security.
Bringing you the news in a more digital way.